Welcome back, gamers, to another Gamer Jooce episode. You know we always get straight on into the content, and it is no different today. Number 10. Among Us is an old game. Our first fact may surprise you. So, Among Us's crazy popularity may make us believe it is a fairly new game, similarly to how Fall Guys was the trending game earlier this year when it launched in August 2020. But it turns out that the creators of Among Us have been hard at work for a couple of years now. It was originally released in the year 2018 by Inner Sloth. The concept was inspired by another game of deception, Werewolf, which was a social deduction game created in 1986. Werewolf divided players into two groups. One group was an informed minority, who were the werewolves, and the other group was an uninformed majority, who were the villagers. Like Among Us, for each game, a player is secretly assigned a role, and the players spend the night trying to kill each other and the day debating the identities to vote suspects out. The game only ends when a faction triumphs. Among Us still stands out with its concept and space-themed setting, as the players have to finish multiple tasks before takeoff, identify the imposters among them, vote them off in meetings, and try to avoid getting killed by an imposter. So, it's 2018, and Inner Sloth has just created Among Us. That year, it barely had 1,000 downloads if you can believe it. Its rise to being meme-worthy only started in mid-2020. Number 9. Among Us wasn't the original name. The name Among Us seems like a perfect fit for this game, with imposters infiltrating a group of innocent crewmates, but that wasn't always the case. When the game was first released in June 2018 to Android and iOS, it was called Space Mafia, of all things. Back then, it didn't have millions of players. On average, maybe 30 to 50 players were playing simultaneously. Ultimately, the creators felt like the name Space Mafia wasn't as attractive as Among Us, and thus, the iconic name was born. Number 8. The geniuses behind Among Us. Up next, we get to know the genius team behind the simple but psychologically complex game that turns friends against friends and surprisingly helps forge new friendships. Normal games have entire studios and teams of developers behind them, but Among Us was solely developed by a small but mighty team of 3: Forrest Willard, Amy Liu, and Marcus Brominder. Together, they formed the Washington-based company Inner Sloth. And get this, between the 3 of them, and with a limited budget, it only took them about 12 months to finish the design of the game since it was so simple. Inner Sloth is also responsible for other successful projects such as the game Dig to China, which was released in 2015, and the recent Henry Stickmin collection, which is referenced a lot in Among Us. But we'll get to that at the top of the list, so keep watching if you've ever noticed a Henry Stickmin reference. Number 7. Origins of the Among Us craze. So Among Us was initially released in 2018, but it was fairly obscure at the time with only about 1,000 downloads. The current hype around the deduction game started in August and September of 2020, when it was picked up by popular Twitch streamers such as Sodapoppin and PewDiePie, legendary YouTuber who also popularized Minecraft and caused millions to flock to that as well. Sodapoppin and PewDiePie each have 1.2 and 2.8 million followers on the live streaming platform respectively. People, including many internet personalities, started realizing the genius and entertainment of the game and jumped on the bandwagon. And as they say, the rest is history. Number 6. Among Us 2. Coming up at fact number 6 is one of the most exciting facts we have today, and it's about Among Us 2, the sequel. With millions of people flocking to Among Us, something the creators didn't expect, they decided to come out with a sequel to accommodate the abundance of players joining in every day. Among Us 2 was confirmed by the developers in August 2020. They promised that this sequel will accommodate the growth since it's, quote, extremely hard to add more things on the pre-existing game, quote, without breaking things. It was meant to keep the core gameplay of the original crewmates versus imposters, but with the addition of a few tweaks on team balances and improvement on matchmaking. They also made the exciting promise of adding new roles. A new theme was going to be added for the next stage of the game, and it was going to be a Henry Stickmin-themed location. Finally, the developers just promised that they figured out server issues to make the game run more smoothly. However, in September, Innersloth announced that the plans for Among Us 2 have been terminated, but don't be disappointed yet. They also announced that all the improvements they intended to use in the sequel were just going to be added to the existing game, so we're still hopefully getting new roles and more. Number 5. Hackers are an issue. Great games always attract people who are looking for a quick and easy win and are willing to cheat to achieve that. Some of the hacks that have plagued Among Us include sped-up movements for the players for an unfair advantage and the ability to instantly kill entire lobbies. It's safe to say that these hacks ruin the entire game experience for normal players who are looking for 10 to 15 minutes of intense but fun deduction. Cheaters also developed ways to edit their nicknames, have their entire crews ejected at the start of the match, and even one hack could invite an extra imposter, unfairly tipping the scales. The developers at Innersloth have reassured us that they are seriously looking into this issue and are planning to implement an account system for better moderation and build reporting systems. In addition, they're also working on making the game servers better at detecting and stopping hacks. Number 4. Among Us can credit a worldwide pandemic to its success. Fact number 4 is a little bleak, but one of the reasons why Among Us is so largely successful is the global COVID-19 pandemic that's forced everyone to lock down and limited socialization with social distancing rules. Among Us's popularity rose at a time when people wanted to hang out with their friends and couldn't. The game's social aspect was incredibly appealing. Plus, the memes that were created in the game's name are always hilarious. Due to this, in September 2020 alone, the game had over 100 million downloads, a long way since the mere 1,000 downloads it had in 2018. The number of concurrent players was a whopping 1.5 million. 400,000 were on Steam, where the game is worth about $5. That's just at the start of September. By the end of the month, Among Us had 3.8 million concurrent players. This phenomenon understandably overloaded the game's server, and according to Willard, one of the 3 developers at the time, Among Us was operating on a free and terrible Amazon server. Clearly, they've improved the servers, and in August, they even opened a merch store for t-shirts and such. Number 3. You can have pets. It's not just crewmates and imposters walking around a spaceship. You have your own pet following you around. You do have to buy them, but they're so precious it hurts. Cuteness aside, pets can actually give you away whether you're an imposter or a crewmate. If you're an imposter and are in the process of running away after a murder or you're escaping through a vent, crewmates can identify you by your hat or pet because the game accidentally makes the space of your character larger to accommodate them. On the other hand, if you're playing as a crewmate, pets can give away your location. This is only available in a few certain situations. Pets will loyally follow you around everywhere until you die. They may react to your death during the kill animation, with the reaction depending on the pet. If you die with a pet beside you, the pet will remain in the location of the murder, even after the body disappears, such as after a meeting is called. Some of the pets include a few fun pop culture references, such as the head of the crab from the Half-Life series, the brain slug from the criminally underrated Futurama series, or even a mini crewmate that's a smaller version of the players and even matches their color. Number 2. Glitches. Innersloth never predicted the wild success of Among Us, so some glitches were bound to happen. Some of the bugs include people being automatically disconnected due to an error, or the more exciting switch of power between the players, where imposters sometimes have the skills of a crewmate and not of a normal imposter. These bugs have stopped the team at Innersloth from expanding the game to other consoles such as PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but they also found issues in implementing player communication, like text or voice chat. Number 1. References to other games. And lastly, at the top of our list of 10 facts about Among Us, is the creator's favorite thing to do: hide Easter eggs or references in the game. In this case, we're talking about the many references to the Henry Stickmin franchise, which was also developed by Innersloth. References include a poster of the franchise in the Mira HQ map, which is located in the office on the right side near the computer, which has the data upload task. In the Polis map, there's a photograph on a board from Henry Stickmin in the office. On the Skeld, the empty garbage task can sometimes show the diamond from the game stealing the diamond, as well as the teleporter that makes an appearance in all the games. Alrighty gamers, we hope you enjoyed the list because that's going to wrap it up. If you did in fact watch the video all the way through, we appreciate you so much and hope you enjoyed it enough to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell because we're always releasing more content. As always, we'll see you on the next one.